Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing this. Haha, yes, it's Howling II. Also, importantly, Your Sister Is A Werewolf. And it's from 1985. And this follows the classic Howling, which is an absolute classic and is just a brilliant film. But this, well, it's this film, and it seems quite notorious in many ways, but it's so enjoyable and entertaining, even though in many ways it's everything that is wrong in certain films. But it kind of works because it's so bad. You know, I'm always, if it was really bad and I didn't get anything from it, then I wouldn't be reviewing it. But I really like it. It's entertaining. It's funny, but it shouldn't work. And it doesn't to some extent, but it doesn't matter. It's just entertaining. In fact, many ways you wonder how it ever got made. But I think the answer to that would be the fact that Sir Christopher Lee is in this film, and therefore, no matter what sort of budget they were given, which was obviously not massive, they produced this, and it wouldn't have. I really feel it wouldn't have been made even without him. But there we are. That's how it goes. Where can I start? This, in many ways, this film, directed by Philippe Moreau, the French-Australian director, who you're probably wondering, yeah, who's he? Well, yeah, exactly. He's made a lot of films, and as he maintains in this, a lot of them have become cult status afterwards. And I think he kind of enjoys that. And the way he describes how this film was put together is in itself a film, as he describes, because it is amazing. It was filmed in Czechoslovakia at the time of the Iron Curtain down, and the whole stories surrounding it are just incredible, really. But there we are. I'll go into some of that in a minute. I'll just describe the sort of lead actress that it's sold on this film is, of course, Sybil Danning. Yes, she's more into the sort of, not immediately in the film, but it sort of builds up to a wonderful performance. Yes. She just, I don't know how to describe it, camps it up, if you want to put it. She doesn't have to do a great deal except just show herself as a body in various poses and overact, if you want to call it that, and just be herself. It's just, well, what it is. And then the other actress that is interesting is Marsha Hunt. She was in Dracula AD 1972, which is interesting. I love that film as well. And this film, she's in this. And again, she doesn't exactly stretch herself, but she looks ever so good. Yeah, I know. But her life, actually, as an actress, was only a very small part. If you look at her biography, she's really very interesting in terms of what she's done in her life and her writing and in musicals and all sorts of things. But she appeared in this. I wonder if she wants to talk about this film. I don't know. There's not an interview with her, but yes. But she looks absolutely stunning. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But there we are. Then the sort of, apart from Sir Christopher Lee, we have Reb Brown, who plays this character, Ben White. And, well, yes, what can I say about his acting? Yes, you're not going to knock your socks off with it. But it's interesting that he ended up playing a TV version of Captain America. Yeah. Again, you wonder, don't you, in life. And then the other actress, who I suppose is the credible actress, was Annie McEnroe, and she plays Jenny Templeton. Yes, again, what can I say about that? It's just an amazing film, how it all puts together. I mean, basically, what is interesting, it starts off with this Sir Christopher Lee reading from the Book of Revelation, and we get into the church, and we get the sort of religious themes supposedly going to run through it. And then they start creating their own version of what a werewolf mythology is. And Sir Christopher Lee, playing it quite straight, as he does, but then there are other glimpses of him not playing it so straight. It's absolutely wonderful, absolutely, because you can't believe it. You hear all these things and think, oh yeah, they borrowed from this, borrowed from that. The silver bullet, for instance, is no longer the ultimate killing of a werewolf. No, you've got to have this titanium. Yes. Oh, it gets more interesting by the hour. It does. Yes, it does. And it's all put together. The whole film is interesting because it's sort of put together in a very kind of strange way, and they have to keep padding it out. It's almost like they were given a length of time that how long this should be, and they have to reach that goal of what it is. And therefore, the other point is there's a scene where, again, it's fairly near the beginning, where there's at this concert, the Marsha Hunt character, she's there picking up these characters to get rid of them as werewolves too. It's almost like a vampire kind of thing as well, you know. There's mixing it, and you'll see in a minute. I was going to tell you about the vampire connection. Anyhow, there's this song that actually I quite like it. It's a song, but they claim this is 1985. It's the 80s. They claim it's a punk song. It's not. It's 80s. It's not punk. I suppose it's new wave, post-punk kind of song. It's not punk, but they've got this audience full of punks, supposedly. But the Czechoslovakian punks, because it was all filmed in Czechoslovakia. The story is that they had half an hour to film this group playing because they were surrounded by the Czech sort of army people who gave them half an hour because they weren't very pleased that this group of people had got together, these young people, and, you know, it wasn't a good thing in the Iron Curtain days, you know. The communists didn't like it. No, they didn't. Oh, so anyhow, that's just one side. But this song that they keep playing, it stretches out throughout. There's like two songs, and there's one that's the major song that is played. And they keep playing it all the time. You can't, in the end, you're thinking, oh, it's that damn song again. I mean, I like it, but they keep playing it and playing it. And what made me laugh, even on the menu here, we keep hearing the blooming song again. It's everywhere. It's hilarious. It's so fun. This is one thing, this film, he claims in the interview that it's satire, but I mean, really, you're kind of laughing at just the absurdity of it all. It's not really making any particular point. It's just rather absurd. And the way it's all cobbled together as a film in sections. I mean, it's obviously the script. I don't know. It must have been all over the place, and they had to make the best out of this script that they were being given. And they do, I suppose. They make the best of it. Because we end up going to Transylvania, which you don't really associate with werewolves, but they must have thought, well, why not? Let's have a bit of werewolf in Transylvania. You know, let's say, yeah, no more vampires. Let's have werewolves. And then you get these wonderful scenes that were in which they filmed in Czechoslovakia, in this like so-called village, and there's this fair going on supposedly, and everybody's giving really big clues about the werewolves, and they start making these funny noises. One of them, I thought, oh, he's got a cold or something, you know, the way he kept making these noises. I mean, it just gets funnier and funnier. Thing is, I don't know where it supposedly is to be funny or not. You just can't help, but you just have to enjoy it. Everybody just, and the whole characters are just so funny to watch, but it's enjoyable because, you know, it's so, I mean, they have like this, there's an orgy scene, right? And it's so fake and so funny watching it. But they say, well, it's a werewolf orgy scene. Yeah, it's not not very erotic at all. It's the way they've done it, but they have to do the best they can. And the Sybil Denning says in the interview, a brilliant interview on here. It's interesting that she doesn't look as if she's aged over all these years. Now, I wonder how that's happened. I think you might guess that. Yes. Anyhow, but she's loving it. She loves this cult status about the film. Though she gets a bit upset, she said, at the ending, because some clever director, well, not a director, not the actual director, he claims he wasn't involved. But one of the producers says, yes, let's have lots of Sybil's breasts at the end. So you get, in the end, 17 takes of her breasts in the final, with that music going on and this happening. It becomes hilarious. She wasn't too pleased, apparently, but now I think she kind of accepts it. Of course, nowadays, none of this would ever be allowed. It's so... This is what... This film is like something that you can't believe they actually got made, but it did. And there it is. And I know it's on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 31%. Now, 31%, I thought it'd be lower. I did. I expected it to lower. I think the cult status it's gathered, they absolutely love it. As you can see, the people involved, who at the time must have thought, well, that'll disappear forever. But it's great because even Sir Christopher Lee, he plays along with some of this stuff. Like there's a scene in the beginning, where he's got these sunglasses and he's in this club. You know, when I said the group were playing, he's there mingling in there, and he's the look on his face is just incredible. But he did have a sense of humour. The other thing about Sir Christopher Lee, when he landed in Czechoslovakia, there was a guard of honour, and the director said, who's that for? Oh, he said, it's probably for me from the wartime. And apparently they really respected and honoured him because of what he'd done against the Nazis. Incredible. This in the wartime, because he wasn't allowed to talk about it too much, right up to his death, apparently, because of the Official Secrets Act. But he was involved in the Secret Service to some extent. That's just interesting about Sir Christopher Lee. But he plays along with it, this film. I mean, the thing is, everything with the script is wrong. The revelation that she, a name, they call her like the Queen of the Werewolves, right? A name, they give her this name, Strieber, something like that. Yeah. And she's the Queen of the Werewolves. It's all tosh. It's just rubbish. It's brilliant. And the revelation that she is his sister. They give it away. They give it away in the title, don't they? I mean, you know, if you're trying to build up some sort of tension in a film, you don't give away that big secret. And then the scene at the end is quite kind of weird, really. The whole film has a weirdness about it. And the weirdness is that you're thinking, this could seem a bit inappropriate if they're brother and sister. And you're thinking, hey, yes, what's going on here? And it's all done in the best possible taste. Yeah, that's what it is. But this is what I mean. This film is almost a car crash that has happened, but you can't help but just be amazed by it, by just, how they've managed to cobble this together. I do not know, but they did. And, and now people can enjoy it. I enjoy it because I just can't believe it. But it is entertaining, and some of the effects are actually quite good, considering they must have had hardly any budget on the effects. And they're quite good, some of the werewolves. Let's face it, Syl Danning doesn't really have that much to do, really. Just pout and pose and make a few noises and gestures, look good in the outfits that she's wearing, where her breasts are nearly coming out all over the place. And just camp it up. That's all she needs to do, and that's what she does. And she thinks it's absolutely wonderful. And so do a lot of people that are there to see her. They're not bothered about the rest of the film. That's all they want. Oh, dear. But you've got to laugh because they actually think that this film is satire. You don't realise that people are laughing at this film because of what it is. But that makes it enjoyable, the way they are. And Sir Christopher Lee, he's in there. He's brilliant. He actually elevates how bad this film is. Without him, we wouldn't even be talking about it, would we? We wouldn't, because he just brings it out. The fact that the director of this went on to make Howling III as well, which is another one that didn't do that well. But, there we are. It's just an incredible film. It's available. It was 2015. I think it was on Shout Factory, and Arrow Video did it. And they've done a good job. The extras are really good. Transfer's brilliant. Even that song, hearing that song all the time. Oh my, yeah. It's a great. It really is a great disc. I unfortunately haven't got there must have been a booklet at some time, but I got this, I think it's a bargain somewhere, probably on eBay, and there it is. It's a great disc. If you're prepared to take this for what it is, you'll love it. It's entertaining. It's something that, I've watched a few times because you almost can't believe it, but it's so entertaining. But how it got filmed like this, how they passed it and said, yes, well, that's great, But the film, it repeats so many scenes because you've got to pad it out. You get the same shot, then it pops up again, the same shot, the music, the same shot. It's just so funny, and the acting, everything about it is great. So that's the film. It's Howling II. Your Sister Is A Werewolf from 1985. If you haven't seen it, you might be in for a treat. Yes. So, that's it. So, if you're interested, want to see more, want to be notified, then subscribe. And also, if you like it, please just give it a like. Just give it a like. As I say all the time, it costs note. So do it, do it. Be great. Yeah. Thank you. All I've got to say is, I'll see thee, and I'll see thee again.